What's going on, guys? UFC fight night Moreno versus Erceg took place last night. We're going to be going over every fight on the card, giving you my recap and breakdowns. Let's get straight into it. Austin Hubbard versus Markel Medeiros. Markel Medeiros gets it done by split decision. Should have been unanimous, in my opinion. I thought he clearly won the first and the third. Hubbard won the second. I'm seeing some people say robbery. How do you give Hubbard that third round? I don't understand. He had a bit of control time, yeah, but he did zero damage. And every single moment that it was on the feet, Medeiros was outlanding him, landing the better strikes, and he got the cut, better elbows, better ground and pound when he was on top. He just made more. I wish he would have got more elbows when he was in that position. He definitely had opening for more elbows to make it more of like a clear round for him. I didn't like that it was split, but he still gets the split decision victory. Yeah, third round he landed 15 significant strikes. Hubbard only landed 6. So yeah, just cleanly outstruck him across all 3 rounds. Had better numbers and was landing the better, more damaging strikes. And if we look at control time, first round he only had 50 seconds. Second round he had 4 minutes. A lot of control time there. That's his round. Third round, which is the round that people are saying Hubbard should have won, he only had 2 minutes and 30 seconds of control time, and Medeiros had a minute and 20 seconds of his own control time. So only like a little over a minute more of control for Austin Hubbard. But Medeiros had the cut, the elbows, and more strikes and more damage on the feet. So you have to give that round to Medeiros. A minute extra of control time and no damage does not win you the round. So I thought that round was clearly Medeiros, and yeah, he gets the split decision win. Let's move on to the next fight. Jamal Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. I picked Jamal Emmers via first round TKO, and he gets it done via first round TKO. I've seen a couple people picking Miranda as an underdog, and I was just like, nah, I'm not falling for that underdog pick. Miranda's just not going to win. He's not durable. He's not UFC level. He's got a decent ground game, but like, I don't know. So does Emmers. Emmers is pretty good on the ground as well. I was a little bit worried in the first round because there was like a really weird entanglement between them, and they ended up on the ground. And Miranda was kind of close to like a head and arm choke, but Emmers was able to escape it, and he just cleanly outstruck Miranda on the feet, dropped him multiple times, hurt him bad, and he got the finish and put him out bad. And yeah, it was a pretty clean finish. Jamal Emmers gets it done. I don't know, his striking is like so weird, but it works. He kind of reminds me, the way he strikes kind of reminds me of like Carlston Harris, where he's got this like long sort of he's got this long sort of rangy style where he walks forward and like flicks these shots at you, and they look like they're just gonna tap you and not do much, but then they hit you and you just fucking go down. Like in the Carlston Harris versus Santiago Ponzinibbio fight, he was like slingshotting his fist. That's what the motion looked like. It looked like he was slingshotting his fist, but every time it would land, it would just do so much. So yeah, Emmers has a cool striking style, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Let's move on to the next fight. Rafa Garcia versus Vince Pichel. I picked Rafa Garcia via a 29-28 unanimous decision. Rafa Garcia gets it done 30-27 on 2 of the judges' scorecards. I don't agree with those scorecards. Maybe not. I don't know. It was a really close fight. I thought it was going to be a split. Those second and third rounds were both swing rounds. Both of them could go either way. I slightly edged out Pichel in the second round and slightly edged Garcia in the third. So yeah, I thought Rafa Garcia should have won a 29-28, first and third. Pichel gets the second. Fun fight though, man. Really fun fight. These guys were just going at it, swinging. Garcia was landing just the harder punches. Vince was like up on numbers. He was letting a little bit more volume. He was getting his combos going. But Rafa was just throwing with the harder shots. He was just landing better. And every time he landed, there was just a bigger reaction from Pichel. And he got 2 takedowns, had 2 minutes of control. Yeah, this was Rafa Garcia's fight. It was close though. It was close and it was a really good fight. One of the best fights on the card. This was a really good card. A lot of fun scraps. Quite a few good finishes. But yeah, Rafa Garcia gets it done via a unanimous decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Julia Polastri versus Lupita Godinez. This was a pretty fun fight. The third round at least. The first 2 rounds, I don't know. The first 2 rounds were kind of mid. Nothing was really happening. It was pretty much just Lupita getting the takedown and controlling and just having top position. But the third round, man, Lupita could not get her takedowns going. She only went 1 for 6, had 48 seconds of control, and Julia Polastri just walked forward with her hands down, trying to aura farm and landing at will on Lupita Godinez. And dude, I thought she was close to getting a finish, but Lupita does pull through and gets the 29-28 unanimous decision victory like I predicted. Won the first 2 rounds comfortably, got the takedowns way too easily in my opinion. She was getting those takedowns extremely easily. Until the third round where she looked like she was a little bit gassed, but they both were gassed. Dude, that was so, like, I don't know, that third round was really fun. Palastri was just literally walking forward with her hands down at her side, just landing at will, not worrying about defense at all. And Lupita was kind of getting overwhelmed, I'm not going to lie. She was kind of getting pushed back and pressured up against the fence. And it looked like Pilastri was maybe going to get the TKO, but nah. Lupita survives, and she gets the win like I predicted. Pretty fun fight for the third round. The first two rounds were pretty boring. Third round was really fun. Probably the best round on the card, but not the best fight. So, yeah, let's move on to the next fight. Melquizael Costa versus Christian Rodriguez. I picked Christian Rodriguez by 29-28 decision. Melquizael Costa gets it done 29-28 decision. This is a pretty good fight, pretty fun, competitive. Pretty much just a technical back and forth grappling match. There wasn't too much striking going on the feet, but on the ground there was a lot of technical sweeps, takedown entries, control, reversals, submission attempts, ground and pound. It was a fun fight, man. Good high level grappling, and Melquizael Costa showed that he is the better fighter. So round one starts. They're kind of sizing each other up. Rodriguez lands a good combo on the inside and almost immediately backs Melquizael Costa up against the fence and just kind of starts holding him there. He's looking for takedowns, looking for them. He's not able to get them. He's knee in the thigh, basically just Marab maxing. But he finally does get the takedown, gets on top of Costa, and I wish he just would have done more with the takedown. He didn't really look for any ground and pound, any damage or anything. He was just kind of just holding him there, trying to advance to some more positions, trying to keep Costa down. And then Costa, a little bit later, after Rodriguez racks up 2 minutes and 7 seconds of control time, Costa reverses it, gets on top, and then when Costa's on top, he's elbowing to the body, looking for damage, looking for all that kind of stuff. And it's looking good for Costa. He's just doing more with the strikes, doing more with the damage. And I just wish Rodriguez would have done more in that first round. Near the end of the first round, though, he does almost sink in an anaconda choke, I believe it was, and he gets pretty close to that. But Costa rolls out of it well and is able to get out. And yeah, Costa does good in that first round. Second round starts, pretty much more of the same thing. They go up to they hold each other up against the cage. They're kind of going back and forth between who's holding who. Rodriguez gets the trip or something like that. I think it was a trip. Gets the takedown, but again, doesn't really do much with it. And then Costa just reverses once again and ends up on top. And then when Costa's on top, same thing. He's just doing more. What basically, moral of the story, when you're in control, look for damage. Because the control time in this fight, Costa, Rodriguez had more control time actually. He had 6 minutes, 48 seconds. Costa had 4 minutes, 53 seconds. So Rodriguez was winning in the control department, but he just didn't do any damage on top. He just wasn't looking for elbows, wasn't looking for anything like that. He did a little bit near the end of the third round, but that's about it. And then yeah, rounds 1 and 2 were just Costa because he kept reversing position, getting more control, and when he was on top, he was looking for elbows and looking for damage. Rodriguez wasn't. So yeah, clean performance for Melquizael Costa, and he gets it done. Fun grappling match. Let's move on to the next fight. Ateba Gautier versus Jose Medina. Dude, Ateba Gautier is dangerous. This guy has serious power. First person to KO Medina. I predicted him to do so, and he gets it done. Yeah, every time Ateba landed, Medina just felt it. I could see that he was feeling the power. And then eventually they get in like some sort of clinch exchange. Ateba lands some good punches, grabs Medina's head, and slams his head into his knee, and Medina just goes out. He's done on the ground. Kind of struggles to get back up, and he kind of complains a little bit about an early stoppage, but nah, the ref saved his life. I'm not gonna lie, Medina was done. And middleweight, you have a Francis Ngannou. He's from Cameroon. He's 6'4", 81-inch reach, dangerous power. Just finished a guy that's never been finished. Ateba Gautier, what's next for him? I would like to see Ateba Gautier. I'd like to see him face a guy like Antonio Tricoli, or just somebody that he's going to KO, somebody that is just a lock and a free win. Because we got to build up this guy's highlights in the UFC. Because once he gets up there, he's going to have all these fucking crazy first-round flatline KO highlights, and it's just going to be crazy to market this guy. This guy's going to be super marketable in the next few years. And yeah, I'd say give him Antonio Tricoli or just any other guy that he's going to KO with ease, and I could pick as a lock and up my lock percentage. But yeah, good win for Ateba Gautier. He gets it done. Jose Medina should retire. He just, I don't know. You can't really market him anymore because he used to be like, oh, he's this durable, unfinishable guy. But like he got 30-27 on the Contender Series by Gatsias Sulov, 30-27 in his UFC debut by Zach Reese, and you could market him in this fight being like, oh, he's unfinishable against a guy who KOs everybody. It should be interesting. But now he just got KO'd in the first round, so now you can't even market him as like this unfinishable guy. So I don't know. Yeah, just cut Jose Medina. No reason to keep him around. Yeah, good win for Teba Gautier. Let's move on to the next fight. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Ronaldo Rodriguez does not get it done. I picked him by second round sub. Borjas gets it done. 30-27 unanimous decision. This was a really tempting underdog. I don't remember if I said it in the video that I was thinking about picking him, but I was thinking about picking Borjas as one of my underdogs. I was really tempted on it, but I decided to go with Ronaldo Rodriguez. I just thought, he's got a lot of hype. He's coming to Mexico. He's got heart. He's going to be able to survive. And I don't know. I think he can pull off the submission, but he just didn't fight very smart. He was clearly getting outstruck by Borjas. Gets dropped bad in the first round with a slick right hand. Borjas is good, man. I knew Borjas was going to be the better striker, but I thought Rodriguez's grappling was going to cancel that out. But he didn't really even shoot any takedowns. He only shot 5 takedowns and only got one of them. And if we look at the thing, he shot 3 takedowns in round one, only got one of them. Only shot 2 takedowns in round two, and they were kind of like desperation attempts. And then in round three, he shot 0 takedowns. He didn't even really try that hard to go to the ground, and he knows he's clearly the better grappler than Kevin Borjas. So I'm not sure why he didn't really try that more. I'm sure he could have had more success, but he just decides to strike with somebody that's clearly a better striker, and Borjas put the beats on him. You know what I mean? Borjas pieced him up, 30-27 him, outstruck him every round, dropped him bad in the first, and good win for Kevin Borjas, man. He was a really tempting underdog because one, I knew he was a good striker, and I knew I knew he was a good striker, and I knew he was underrated. He looked good in that first round against Joshua Van, and I knew Ronaldo Rodriguez was overrated. I knew Ronaldo Rodriguez was a very overhyped prospect, not as good as people think, but I thought, he's probably going to beat Kevin Borjas, right? But no, Kevin Borjas gets it done. I should have picked him as an underdog. I was thinking about it, but I decided not to. But yeah, really good win for Kevin Borjas. He gets it done. He gets his first UFC victory, and I'm happy for the guy, man. He seemed really happy, and he's a clean striker, man. I'm excited to see where he goes next. Maybe we're going to see a new version of Kevin Borjas where he's going to start piecing people up. But yeah, good win for Kevin Borjas. Let's move on to the next fight. David Martinez versus Simon Oliveira. David Martinez gets it done. I predicted it perfectly. First round TKO. Dude, that was a really nice finish. He hit him with he slipped Oliveira's punch, came over the top with a right hand and hurt him bad. Followed it up with some other punches. Then hit him with a knee, I think. The knee put him down, and then he ground and pounded him, put him out. Sick finish from David Martinez. Simon Oliveira, I know he's not UFC level. He's had 3 UFC fights and he's lost all of them comfortably. But dude, David Martinez, man, he still seems like a really, really good prospect. He finished him easier than Daniel Marcos did, way easier. And Simon Oliveira just isn't UFC level, but good win for David Martinez, man. I think he's a doctor as well. They were saying something about him being a doctor, so maybe being a doctor is the best base for MMA because we got David Martinez and we got Ming Shi that fought on the China card that got the head kick KO. So maybe doctors just know more about anatomy and that's why they're able to get these KOs. That's probably not even a far-fetched thing to say, but yeah, David Martinez gets it done. I honestly think this guy could be a serious prospect at 135. He looked dangerous. He looked really fast. His leg kicks looked heavy. His punches looked heavy. He just beat the shit out of Simon Oliveira, easy as it is. I knew he was gonna win. This was a pretty easy pick. Didn't lock him because it's a debuter, and you can never really trust a debuter like that. But hey, I trusted him here, and he gets it done. So yeah, good win for David Martinez. He gets it done. First round TKO. Let's move on to the next fight. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. I picked Raul Rosas Jr. as my one and only lock of the card, and Raul Rosas Jr. gets it done comfortably. I knew he was going to win this fight. It was going to be easy. Vince Morales has no takedown defense, and well, I shouldn't say no takedown defense, but he has mid takedown defense, and he just accepts bottom position way too easily and doesn't really try to work back up that much, which is exactly what he did in this fight. Same thing he did in his last fight against Elijah Smith. He just accepted bottom position too often. And Rosas Jr. was strong. He was able to hold him down. He was able to get him down pretty comfortably. And Rosas Jr. gets the win. He even outstruck him on the feet, which was impressive. His striking is getting better every fight. But yeah, Raul Rosas Jr., good performance from him. Vince Morales, I think you should cut him from the sport. He's on a 5-fight losing streak now. And I don't know, it's just not looking good for Vince Morales. I knew a guy that's 3-7 in the UFC was not going to beat Raul Rosas Jr. This guy's special, man. Like if you are anything special in this sport, you will beat Vince Morales comfortably. And Raul Rosas Jr. beats him comfortably because I think his grappling is actually pretty special. Didn't really try for too many submission attempts. I don't really remember him trying for like very many submission attempts at all. But he did have the back at one point. He was kind of trying to work his way to a rear naked choke. I think the main takeaway from this fight is that Raul Rosas Jr. has really good top control. He's really good at keeping his opponents down on the ground. Vince Morales just could not find his way back up to his feet at all. And Raul Rosas Jr. gets the win. I picked him as a lock. I get my lock pick right. Easy pick in my opinion. I don't know. Vince Morales didn't really have a chance here. The dude has one KO. Like I've seen people saying like, oh, he's gonna KO. He's gonna KO Raul Rosas Jr. The dude has one KO win in his UFC career, and he only has like two or three knockdowns. This guy is like, why were people acting like this guy's a KO artist? He's not. He like no. But anyways, yeah. Raul Rosas Jr. gets the win pretty comfortably. Outstrikes him, out controls him, everything. He had almost 10 minutes of control time, which is insane. But yeah, Vince Morales just couldn't really do anything. He did kind of have like a somewhat in submission attempt near the end. Not really. He didn't really have the right angle, but he was kind of close to getting a Darce choke. But he didn't have the angle right. Rosas Jr. knew he was fine. He gave the thumbs up, and then the round was over. But that was pretty much all Morales had in this fight. And yeah, he wasn't able to get it done. Raul Rosas Jr. gets it done via a unanimous decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Edgar Chairez versus CJ Vergara. Sick performance from Edgar Chairez. He gets the first round submission. Pretty much knocked him out as well. This was another pick that I was really confident in. I was going to take him as a lock, but I decided not to. Felt like it was a little bit too risky. But Chairez gets it done. And yeah, hurts him with a right hand, or I think it was a left hand actually. Hurts him with a left hand at the start of the round, which puts him down. And then just chases him down, hurts him again with a right hand, and then jumps on the submission and gets it. So yeah, good win for Edgar Chairez, man. Sick finish. And CJ Vergara, I think he should be cut from the sport. He doesn't really offer anything. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, 2 of them by first round finish, and he hasn't really done anything in the sport that's worth keeping him around. His best win in the UFC is Clayton Rodriguez, who he arguably like robbed. Clayton Rodriguez arguably should have won that fight. But yeah, I don't know. Not really much else to say. Edgar Chairez gets a sick finish. He was crying during the post-fight interview on the mic. I think like his grandfather died or something like that. So rest in peace to Edgar Chairez's grandfather. Hopefully Edgar's doing well. Hopefully he's happy about this win because I think Chairez is actually a lot better than people give him credit for. He was giving Vance some problems in their fight, but yeah, Edgar Chairez gets the first round submission over CJ Vergara. I predicted it perfectly, and yeah, Edgar Chairez. Let's move on to the next fight. Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. Manuel Torres puts Drew Dober out in the first round. I knew that there was two options for this fight. Either Manuel Torres first round KO or Drew Dober survives the first round, makes the right adjustments, and finishes Torres in the second round. I thought, Torres, after the Bahamondes fight, wasn't going to be as aggressive, wasn't going to be as willing to just rush in, and wasn't going to be as willing to throw as much. I thought he was going to be a little bit more tentative. And Drew Dober, he's tough. He usually survives. And I thought he was going to be able to survive and make it to the second round. Torres does not have good decision making, so I don't know. I just thought Dober was going to be able to survive to the second and get him out of there. But Manuel Torres gets it done, snipes Drew Dober on the chin and puts him down. Fucking Manuel Torres is a sniper now. Whoa. Patient Manuel Torres is going to be a problem. But yeah, he snipes Drew Dober, puts him down. Dober immediately jumps a single leg, so I thought he was fine. But then he just starts getting hammer fisted, and he's not responding, so the ref calls it. And then he tried to he gets up after being hammer fist TKO'd and tries to trudge over to Manuel Torres and fight him again. And then he's like, "What happened?" And he didn't even know he got KO'd. And he was like, "Early stoppage, early stoppage." You were not he got hit with 15 unanswered hammer fists to the side of the head. That was arguably a late stoppage. But yeah, I don't know. Dober, he made a bad decision. Shouldn't have jumped the single leg. Should have just tried to work his way back up. But yeah, Drew Dober gets TKO'd in the first round. Let's move on to the main event. Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg, main event. I predicted it perfectly. Brandon Moreno gets a 49-46 across all three judges' scorecards. He was just the better fighter tonight. It kind of looked like he was playing around with Erceg in certain moments, but yeah, Erceg didn't look terrible. He won a round at least, and arguably won two, but I gave 4 rounds to Moreno. I thought he won this fight 4-1 pretty clear. And yeah, Erceg, he was landing with a little bit more volume, but it was just tippy-tappy shots, little pitter-patter shots that weren't doing anything. Moreno was landing heavy strikes. Every time Moreno landed, it was just doing way more, and Moreno gets the win. Pretty clear 4-1 for Moreno, in my opinion. Maybe you could argue 3-2. Maybe you could argue Steve Erceg winning the second round, but I thought Moreno won the first two, and the 4 and 5 pretty comfortably. Erceg got the third. And yeah, pretty good win for Moreno. There was actually people saying that Steve Erceg could have got the win. I actually seen some people saying that Erceg won 2, 3, and 4. And I'm like, what? No, Moreno won that fight pretty clearly. It was 4-1, and Steve Erceg's now on a 3-fight losing streak. I said it, he didn't deserve this fight. He wasn't going to win. Now, hopefully, he can finally fight down in the rankings. I swear to God, they're gonna give him another top 5 guy after this. He's gonna get like Tatsuro Taira, or like fucking, they're gonna give him like Brandon Royval and a number 1 contender fight or some shit. But yeah, Moreno, this puts him right back into title conversations. I think he's 1 win away. Maybe do I don't know. I think I'm gonna matchmake these two right now. I think Steve Erceg should fight Tagir Ulanbekov. In his next fight, Tagir Ulanbekov's coming off a win. Erceg definitely should be fighting down in the rankings. Giving him only a guy that's 2 spots down is, you know, even that's like generous. He should be fighting like even farther down, like against like a Kai Asakura or like a Ramazan Temirov or something. But I think Steve Erceg versus Tagir Ulanbekov is interesting. I think that'd be a good stylistic matchup. I want to see that. And as for Brandon Moreno, I think what's a good fight for Moreno? Maybe Moreno versus like maybe I think Joshua Van is scheduled against Bruno Silva. If he puts on a really good performance against Bruno Silva, nah, Van wouldn't deserve that. Let me think here. Maybe I don't know. Moreno's in a bit of a weird position. I think he should sit out, and Kopp versus Royval is gonna happen. Um, I think the loser of Kopp versus Royval can fight Moreno, and then the winner of Kopp versus Royval can have a title shot in their next fight. I think that's good matchmaking. Um, because if Kopp loses to Royval, then we get Kopp versus Moreno, fresh matchup. And if I don't know, matchmaking flyweight's kind of hard. Everybody's in like a bit of a weird spot, but okay, here's how I'd matchmake flyweight. All right, this just came to mind. So you do Kai Kara France versus Pantoja next for the belt. It's a fresh matchup. They fought a long ass time ago on the Ultimate Fighter, but still a fresh matchup. Hasn't happened in such a long time, and they're both completely different fighters now. I think for number 1 contender, you do Moreno versus Royval 3. They're 1-1 in the they're 1-1 in the series so far, and the last fight was a split decision, really close. And I think you do Moreno versus Royval 3 for the number 1 contender spot. And then Manel Kopp versus either Tatsuro Taira or Amir Albazi. I think Taira is a more competitive fight. So yeah, and I think Taira, but I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Manel Kopp versus Tatsuro Taira is a cool fight. Um, and then Amir Albazi can fight fucking Alex Perez or something. I don't know. I don't even know how Amir Albazi's in the top 5. He's not a top 5 fighter, but yeah, that's how I'd matchmake this. That's how I'd matchmake the top of flyweight after this fight. So you do Steve Erceg versus Tagir Ulanbekov. You do Manel Kopp versus Tatsuro Taira. You do Moreno versus Royval 3 for the number 1 contender spot. And then you do Pantoja versus Kai Kara for the belt. And then you can go based off whoever wins all those matchups. You can matchmake some more stuff. But yeah, let's get on to the official recap. 9 out of 12 on picks. Really good. I'm happy about that. I did good. Fight of the night, Rodriguez versus Borjas. Easily. Maybe not easily. There was a couple good fights on this card, but I just really like the technical aspect of this fight. Best finish, I'm going to go with Shirez versus Vergara, a KO and a submission in the same sequence. Really cool, and it was good to see Shirez get a win. I like Edgar Shirez, and I got my 1 lock pick right, so that's good. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this card. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought about the card in the comments down below, and give me some matchmaking ideas. Tell me who you guys want to see fight next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.